Kind of a gloomy start to the afternoon across Arkansas. Thanks so much for being with us here on THV11. I'm Michael Aaron, alongside meteorologist Nathan Scott. It's actually raining, but not water. It's raining leaves out there.
Yeah,
right now.
It's raining leaves. When I was coming into work, I saw leaves coming down because we've got that breeze out there. And the breeze is coming in from the south, Michael. So it's bringing in moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. Hence, we've got that low cloud cover in place. And that's playing with the temperature department because where there's more sun, you see it. In Fayetteville, they've warmed up into the 70s, 74 right now. Meanwhile, at 67 Little Rock, 65 in Hot Springs. These clouds are going to be tough to get rid of because we have that moisture in place. You step outside, it feels a little sticky. Dew points are into the 60s. That's a big change compared to this time yesterday when those dew points were into the 40s. It's on the breezy side. We've got those winds moving in from the south and southwest about 10 to as high as 15 miles per hour. So planning out your Tuesday, we'll call it gradual clearing. I think we'll see some more sun around 2-3 o'clock time frame, but the temperatures have taken them down just a little bit. It's still unseasonably warm, highs into the low to mid 70s. Our next chance of rain arrives Wednesday evening through early Thursday morning. That's associated with a cold front. I'll have more details on that coming up.
A Wisconsin jury is now deliberating the fate of Kyle Rittenhouse. The now 18-year-old is charged in the shooting deaths of two men during a night of violent protest in Kenosha last year. A third person was also hurt. As Nancy Chin explains, the decision could come down to the state's definition of provocation.
We shouldn't have 17-year-olds running around our streets with AR-15s, because this is exactly what happens.
In closing arguments, prosecutor Thomas Binger portrayed Kyle Rittenhouse as an instigator looking for trouble who eventually found it. Prosecutors replayed video of the moment he shot and killed protester Joseph Rosenbaum before running away towards the crowd and police.
He does nothing to demonstrate to the crowd that he isn't a threat to kill again. And it turns out he does.
After killing Rosenbaum, Rittenhouse shot and killed Anthony Huber and injured Gage Grosskreutz. Rittenhouse said both men attacked him, but prosecutors say the crowd believed he was an active shooter.
My client didn't shoot at anyone until he was chased and cornered.
While Rittenhouse's attorneys echoed his earlier claim of self-defense.
I didn't do anything wrong. I defended myself.
But the prosecution pointed to videos they say repeatedly showed Rittenhouse pointing his weapon at demonstrators.
If you created the danger, you forfeit the right to self-defense.
The provocation instruction will really become the linchpin of the jury's deliberations.
CBS legal analyst Ricky Kleeman says that argument could be pivotal to the jury's deliberations.
In the state of Wisconsin, if you are the person who provokes the ultimate act of violence, you have a duty to retreat.
Kleeman also tells us she expects deliberations to either be very quick or very long. Either way, people here are on close watch for a verdict. There are 500 National Guard members on standby for potential unrest. Nancy Chin, CBS News, Kenosha, Wisconsin.
We'll have the latest on those ongoing deliberations tonight at 5 and 6. And if there are any breaking updates, we'll have them for you this afternoon on thv-at-noon.com. All Arkansans over the age of 18 can now receive a COVID-19 booster shot. The expansion comes as we see a slight increase in new cases in parts of the state. It's a trend that's happening in other parts of the country too, like the Mountain West and the Midwest. Yesterday's announcement now opens the door for people who are not eligible for the extra dose under national guidelines.
So this is a change in policy that we're implementing here in Arkansas. I think it'll eliminate some confusion, and it'll also encourage everyone across the board that meets this criteria to go get the booster shot. That's the best protection from the virus and from serious health consequences.
Under the new guidelines, the state recommends getting the booster 6 months after the second Pfizer or Moderna shot, or 2 months after the first Johnson & Johnson shot. Arkansas is still struggling with a different vaccine issue. Hundreds of thousands of people across the state have not even gotten the first shot yet. To learn more on where you and your family can get vaccinated, head to thv-at-noon.com. You can also text the word vaccine to the number at the bottom of your screen, 501-376-1111. We'll send that information straight to your phone. Nationally, a COVID-19 outbreak inside a Connecticut nursing home has led to the deaths of 8 residents. A total of 89 residents and employees tested positive for the virus. As Elise Preston reports, all but 2 of those people were vaccinated.
COVID-19 swept through Gear Village Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in North Canaan, Connecticut, taking the lives of 8 residents over the last 6 weeks. Nursing home officials say 89 residents and employees tested positive for the virus, and all but 2 were vaccinated.
We were really proud of the fact that our employees stepped up. They took the vaccine, accepted it. All of our residents did early on. We thought we were ahead of this.
Nursing home officials say the residents who died had serious underlying health issues. They suspect an asymptomatic employee brought in the virus despite regular COVID testing. But they believe the biggest factor was waning vaccination effectiveness for residents who got their shots months ago.
I think it speaks to the importance of getting the vaccine, and then when you're eligible, getting the booster.
Administrator Kevin O'Connell says it's a cautionary tale. The facility was in the process of scheduling booster shots when the infection started.
Booster shots are now available to any eligible adult here in New York City. That's also the case in California, Colorado, and New Mexico, actions that defy current CDC guidance. But those local and state officials say their citizens are at high risk.
At the same time, other states are trying to find ways to get around federal vaccine rules. Idaho's legislature reconvened weeks before its regularly scheduled session, and lawmakers introduced about 36 bills dealing with COVID-19 vaccine and mask mandates. In Texas, the Attorney General has filed a motion for a temporary restraining order against federal vaccine requirements. And South Carolina's Attorney General filed a suit to stop vaccine requirements for healthcare workers. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Close to a dozen other states have joined the South Carolina suit, including Louisiana, Mississippi, and Oklahoma. President Joe Biden has signed his $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. The funds will improve roads, public transit, ports, and expand broadband access. But what does all of this mean here in Arkansas? Let's take a closer look. The state will receive $278 million for bridge replacement and repairs starting next year, and then a whopping $3.6 billion. The majority of this funding will go toward the federal aid highway apportion programs that'll include road updates. RDOT spokesperson Dave Parker explains how the process works.
We will decide on projects, we spend the money, and then we in essence ask the federal government for reimbursement, provided we've met certain requirements in the program, which we are good at.
Later this week, RDOT should have a better idea of how the funds will be divided, according to Parker there. He says the state should get back about 80% of what's spent on these projects. Here's some of the other Arkansas projects this bill will fund. $246 million will go toward public transportation improvements, $54 million toward an electric vehicle charging network in the state, and at least $100 million is allocated for improving broadband access in Arkansas. According to the White House, that money will provide access to 460,000 Arkansans who currently don't have reliable internet. We'll have much more on this story for you tonight at 5 and 6. Happening today, the Arkansas Senate Education Committee will meet to discuss high school sports in the state. This meeting comes following the situation surrounding Nick Smith Jr., a future Razorback who is one of the top high school basketball recruits in the nation. Smith, who is now able to play at North Little Rock this season, was previously ruled ineligible by the Arkansas Activities Association due to alleged recruitment violations. After the ruling was reversed, Senator Missy Irvin called the meeting. In a statement, Senator Irvin said the recent situation with Nick Smith, quote, sheds light on an area that clearly needs improvement to benefit all students, no matter who they are and where they go to school, regardless of what activity they participate in or what opportunity they want to pursue, end quote. That meeting this afternoon set for 3 o'clock, and of course we'll keep you updated on what happens. Buying a house during the pandemic seemed like a great idea, but now people looking for a new home are facing several challenges, and homeowners are starting to get tired of the boom. More on the home buying headaches coming up right here at 12:15.
And it is a dreary Tuesday for parts of central Arkansas. There's some sun off to the north. I'll let you know we'll see more sun on your Wednesday, and our next chance of rain, what we can expect that comes into play next.